How you doing, everybody? We're running a little behind, so thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for joining us today for another Rolling Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel. And thanks to all of you for being part of the Live to Roll family. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. They're a great and helpful group of experts that are very much part of the community and can help you with all your mobility and rehab equipment, as well as your urological needs. So a big thanks to them for sponsoring Live to Roll. On today's show, we'll be recognizing Cerebral Palsy Month and welcoming and talking with Gracie Humbacano and Jeff Grainer. I think I kind of butchered her name up a little bit. But anyway, we'll get her to pronounce it correctly. We'll discuss CP and the effects of aging with a disability right here on today's show. So please make sure to include your questions, comments, and views in the chat. And don't forget to hit that like button. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident 51 years ago. So let's get started and welcome my co hosts, Paul, Chad, and Bobby. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going
Hey,
on?
hey everybody. My name's Paul. I'm C56 quad, 40 years post-injury from a motor vehicle crash. Great to be here, and I think it's going to be a great show today. On to you, Chad.
Kitchen.
Hello, everyone. Chad Dismukes here. C56 quadriplegic. Was involved in a diving accident 30 years ago, and I'm happy to be here. Look forward to hearing about CP. I don't know a lot about it, and looking forward to talking to you all. Yeah, welcome. Let me get it over to Bobby.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6. 36 years today. I got a life birthday today, so mine happened 36 years ago, a couple hours ago. No, I am super excited to have two great guests on today, and a subject that we don't talk about because we're mostly talking about spinal cord, and that's what how the show got started. But it's always great to learn, other types of disability. They function, similar to and go through the same things as someone with a spinal cord injury. Oftentimes using braces, walkers, to wheelchairs, to power chairs. And both of our guests today, thank you, babe. Both of our guests today use different types of equipment just like we do and have a lot of similar things to us. So I want to introduce our two great guests, and I'll start with ladies first. And Grisella, you want to introduce yourself? Gracie?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Gracie and I have cerebral palsy.
And Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grainer. I'm 41 years old with cerebral palsy.
And I guess we can start out, like, if you want to tell us briefly about, and we'll start with you, Grace. Tell us a bit about how your cerebral palsy affects you in your daily life. And obviously, you were born with cerebral palsy. That's correct.
Yes, actually, I wasn't born with it. I got sick after my first birthday in the hospital.
Okay, you can catch it. Okay, and how does it affect your daily life?
Well, I use a walker and a wheelchair, so I use it affects my life and like I guess like if there's like any obstacles to like where I have to go or um just like in tight spaces like if I want to go somewhere but I can't because it's like really crowded. So yeah.
Mhm. And Jeff, you want to tell us a little bit about yours?
Yes, I was born with cerebral palsy. To my knowledge, my mom had an infection in the womb which caused the cerebral palsy. It affects my ability to walk. I use a power wheelchair in my daily life. I try not to let it stop me. I'm as active as possible, involved in the community as possible. Um, I don't see many obstacles in my daily life. If I see them, I try to go around them. That's just my personal mindset.
Or run through them with the
Yeah.
ponytail.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
this is
funny.
interesting because I'm listening to this. I'm already thinking, wow, I didn't know that. So, Gracie, you said you got CP when you were 1, and so I had a big misconception because I thought I thought CP happened at birth, at or before birth. I didn't realize you could get it later on. Can you tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about your situation?
yeah, because because I was born perfectly fine, but then I got sick in the hospital, and I got um I got like a high fever, and I had like encephalitis. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
And what
It's good.
about you? Is that the same thing for you, Jeff?
About getting sick? No, I don't know the details surrounding like when I was born, but it was just when I was born from the infection in the womb. I don't know. I don't remember the details of how I was affected like immediately when I was born.
Okay.
I have a
And
question, you guys. Does the CP, where does it affect you physically? Does it affect your ability to walk? Does it also affect your ability in your hands and your dexterity? And what all does it involve physically?
I'll let the lady go first.
Well, well, for me, it affects my right side. So um yeah, and then like when I eat, I only use my left hand, not my right hand, because when I do, it feels like really weird. So yeah.
So is it like,
And
is it physically you can't use your left hand, or is it that you can't feel it with of touch? You know, like us here with spinal cord injuries, some we're a little bit different, but like I can't feel my hands, I can't move them or feel them, and there's certain parts of my body that I can't feel to the touch. Or is it similar to? Do you have that similar sensation, lack of sensation in movement?
Yes. I mean, I can like move it and stuff and like grab stuff with it, but it just feels weird because I've never like really used it before. So when I do, it's like not um it's not like it doesn't it doesn't feel right to me. I mean, 'cause I could use it, but like I just don't want to because it feels weird to use it. So yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
I'm affected all all four limbs. It affects my fine motor. Um, some of my tracking with my vision is affected. So yeah, I feel the effects physically a lot more, and I have a lot of spasticity and tone.
What about the feeling? Can you feel like can you feel a
Yeah,
touch?
I I have full sensation.
What about like
I
bowel and bladder function? Can you all go to the bathroom? No, you know, I know as spinal cord injuries we're we're you know that's an issue. We got to go about it a different way. Does CP affect your bowel and bladder functions?
uh go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Gracie?
Um yeah, it I don't think it does cuz I do that like naturally, and like I could feel like when I have to go, so that's like no problem
yeah,
Uh-huh.
everything's fine.
Yeah.
for me.
So
So
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And Jeff, it's same kind
For
of with
me,
you.
I
You
can for me, I can go normally, but I do have diagnosed bladder spasticity, so I do take medication for that. Um, when I urinate, I use a urinal, and when I do the other, I need assistance. So, but it does affect me. Like I have more, for me personally, I have more urgency on both on both ends, for lack of a better term.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you guys
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Okay.
That's
All right. I have some questions here, and I'm learning a lot because I don't know much about the CP world or anything like that. But I know in our spinal cord injury community, the resources and support um, um, is there, and I kind of try to take advantage of it nowadays. What support do you is out there for you guys along with resources? What has helped you the most, and what do you kind of look forward on, and what is do you think they need in the CP world? Whoever, Gracie, go ahead.
For me, I mostly use a walker. Like I use it every day, but then like I like kind of like at the end of the night I go in my wheelchair. Um, so yeah, because I also have spasticity in my right leg. I have um I have dystonia. So yeah, and then that also like I can't like control it. Like my right leg like goes up like automatically sometimes, and I can't control it. So
But so when you're on a walker and you get a spasm, how much does that affect you then?
well I think I've like fallen like when I'm walking and then it just like goes up. Because I remember one time I was trying to wall walk and then I I fell because my right leg went up and then yeah.
Okay, Jeff, what about you?
If I understand the question correctly, you're talking about resources out in the community and stuff, correct?
Yes,
Um,
yes, and support systems and things like that.
Yeah, for me, a big resource has always been regional center. If you're born with a disability, you can get connected and approved for the regional center, and they help you with services throughout your life. That's been a big one for me. Even at 41 years old, I'm still connected with regional center, and they're still providing me service. Another big resource for me has been transportation, like access service. I use access service every day of my life, pretty much to go where I need to go. So big on transportation. There, in my experience, there isn't a whole lot out there as far as foundations. Like, I know I have friends, obviously, with spinal cord injury that I work with and stuff, and there's a lot of foundations out there. I haven't come across a lot of foundations in my experience. Um, that's something I think there should be more of.
Yeah,
Just
that
just
definitely.
support in
I can.
general.
Yeah,
Now,
I've always
is
noticed
there?
that. Yeah, I've always noticed that, Jeff, and we've talked about it. Jeff and I used to work together, and I've kind of known that in the past when we've talked about it. There's just not a lot for foundations out there, like
Yeah.
for support. And it's more after you turn 21, if I'm not mistaken, because before 21, you're kind of under that children's services, and then after
Yes.
it's just like you're on your own, and they don't have
Yeah,
much.
it's kind of like good luck. My mom actually told me have fun dealing with all the stuff that I dealt with for you.
Now, what
When
about
I
you?
was
There's so
18,
there aren't. Yeah, are there any support groups or anything like that that you're aware of?
there are there are a few out there on the internet, but the ones I've come across have been um more of like caregiving support and not
Mm.
one-on-one support amongst each other. Like I know specifically in the spinal cord injury population, there's a lot of support groups out there. Um, and in my experience, there's just not a whole lot like that out there for my
Yeah.
population.
Yeah. I do have with CP, do you guys have any misconceptions that people put on you? Kind of like with a spinal cord, I know we've talked about it that, sometimes they just think like, oh, they can't open a door and, oh, you can drive. What about, when you're dealing with cerebral palsy, is there any kind of misconceptions about that plays with you that you wish people understood better?
Number
Go
one
ahead.
thing, and I hope I'm saying this politically correctly, we're not the R word. That's a big misconception that a lot of people think because we have slur in our speech and things with our fine motor that makes us appear to be differently challenged than we are. That's a big one that I've always disliked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I
about
can.
you?
Yeah.
I can see it. How about you, Gracie?
Um, not really. I haven't found any like support groups or anything like that. So,
What about any misconceptions of that people that put on you that you think you wish they knew something better about your disability?
I kind of wish that they would take the time to know like me for me and just like my own personal story because I feel like when everyone sees other people in like wheelchairs or walkers, they just like they just go past us and like completely ignore us.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. I want to welcome APEC he's in our chat. He had his leg amputated in 2001. And APEC, I know, what you're kind of going through with that phantom pain. He says he has phantom pain in his leg that he lost. And kind of like us, we have phantom pain. And I don't know, do you guys have phantom pain in your body anywhere where from the lack of maybe not using it? And Derek just asked, how bad is the pain with CP? Do you guys have much pain, Gracie?
Not yeah, I mean not really. I mean I've had like surgeries, so I still have like soreness from that because I also wear braces on my legs like to help me walk and like for just like for that like extra support. And then but I feel like really weak without them because then I start like falling and stuff. So I feel like weaker without my braces. Like if I don't have them on. Um,
That's
but
kind of like that's like our Bob here.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeff? Do you have much pain?
Uh, when it's colder and it's rainier, like it has been the past few months, yes, I feel like my body tightens up when it's colder. And I'm noticing more as I get a little older that I have a little bit more and a little bit more tightness.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Can
And then
relate
I
to
It's
also
that.
funny.
want to
It's
also
kind
from
of
the
funny, real quick,
chat.
how Bobby. I just want to say how we complain so much about the cold and what it does to your body, and it looks like it's all across the board there. I don't think there's just one disability or anything that has it. As long as it pertains to muscles and nerves and things like that, I think it's pretty much across the board. Because I know for the cold now, my body like gets tight, my body aches more, and this when
Yeah,
it's warm in the sun, so it looks like it's across the board here.
Yeah, and I
Never
know
really.
yeah,
those who have MS or
For sure.
other disabilities. Basically when it's cold, it affects our body. I go to a pain management doctor once a month, and every time the winter comes, she's like, "How you doing?" Because everybody's coming in, and I know what that means, and they're not doing as well. So yeah, it definitely is across the board. Jeff, you got a good friend in the chat, Ken Nelson. He wanted to say hi. I guess you guys run into each other at the Angel games.
Oh
And
yeah,
we're
hi
not,
Ken.
and we're not talking Angels after they just got beat 8-1 today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we won't go there. But
He already started.
Paul,
He already
Paul, you're
started.
on deck.
I'm sorry if anybody's saying something to me in the chat. I'm having a hard time seeing it on my phone. So
No
Yeah,
worries. I
that's
just
okay.
please,
We'll bring it up for you.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
go ahead, Paul.
Oh, yeah. This is really interesting. I'm just because Mickey had said in the chat that she kind of thought CP was always from a lack of oxygen to the brain when somebody was born, and that's exactly what I thought too. I thought that was the cause. So this is I'm finding it's really interesting to learn so much from you two. So thank you both for being on here, sharing this info. That's really really
You're
cool.
welcome.
Um,
And your understanding is correct. In most cases, it is.
okay.
And do
You
you
have
guys
to
have
watch
like,
the brain.
spinal cord, you got your quads and ventilator quads and then your paraplegics. Do you guys have levels of different degrees of cerebral palsy?
There's different names based on the limbs that are affected. Uh, I don't know all those names. I'd have to look them up, but I've seen them. Like different, like mine is spastic diplegia. There's spastic, different terms for how you're affected.
Right.
Do you have one for yours, Gracie?
Yeah, that's actually what I have too. Um I have spastic cerebral palsy. So I have the same thing Jeff Jeff has.
Okay, we're both the same, but and Jeff, you could walk at one time, right? Or when you were younger?
Yeah, although it was really challenging for me, but I could probably walk the length of a small mall at one point with a walker, but it looked like I ran a marathon when I was done. So I was trying to do it for exercise and things like that, but it really wasn't that enjoyable to me, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So with things like that, like if you have the ability to walk, but it's really difficult, and moving like that, are you finding, or is there, do you have things like arthritis happen more commonly, or parts like muscles, joints, and stuff just wear differently because you're using them differently? Have you heard of that, or are you noticing that?
I haven't heard of that, and I haven't had a diagnosis, but I do feel like my knees get more wear and tear, and now that I'm, like I said, I'm a little bit older, my lower back from my positioning in my chair is affecting me a little more. Not to where it's severe, but I'm just noticing where it hasn't before. But a little backstory. I was in a really old wheelchair for the past several months that was completely broken, and so I think that incorrect posture caused that problem because now I'm in a brand new wheelchair and it's already feeling better. So
Hmm. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. That's a good
it's
thing.
any little thing that throws off our body will cause like pain or tightness, at least in my experience.
Right. And that maybe with the type of CP that you have, like with the spasticity.
Yes, and I have a lot of tone too.
Okay.
So
Like sounds like both of you are, with Gracie having that tone where her leg just stiffens out straight and raises. It sounds like you guys are pretty matched on, the spasticity. Gracie, do you have it?
yeah,
And I know this is for Jeff. I used to come behind Jeff and just say his name, and Jeff would almost go through the roof. He would jump if he gets surprised easy, and um, I'm pretty much a jerk sometimes because I would come up and know that he was going to jump and go Jeff, and he was like, "Oh my god," But well, it was always in fun jest. But is that like for you, Gracie? Would if something bangs or someone says if you get startled, do you startle easy where you jump?
Yeah, like in the movies, like that's like a perfect example because when I'm watching a
Yes.
movie, I hear like loud sounds that come up like randomly. I startle right away. So
Yes. Absolutely. I will not go to see a scary movie because of that. I'll watch them at home, but I will not go on the theater, especially with the amplified volume. Forget it.
Yeah, really. Uh, Ken Nelson in our group is asking, what activities are you involved in to entertain yourself? What do you guys do?
Okay, I'll let you go first, Case.
okay, I play like soccer and baseball like on the weekends. So that's like that's exercise and like entertainment for me. And then I also do online Zumba and then in person Zumba too sometimes.
Nice.
And then I do online dance classes too. So
Okay.
What about you, Jeff?
For me, I use a wellness center, and I like to work out, lift weights, do hand bike, that sort of thing to try to stay active. And then socially, I do a lot of sporting events, concerts, comedy, um, and
Very
things like
cool.
that. I like to be out and about and very involved in whatever I can be involved in.
That's good. That's good. I didn't need to take a few lessons from that myself. As I'm getting older, man, I'm kind of getting a little lazier and just easier just to kind of do nothing for me. But I don't mind it,
Yeah,
but I should
my
get out and do more.
if I can make a comment to that, my mind still acts like I'm 20, but my body's reminding me that I'm 40. Like
Yeah.
I want to keep going. Like
I think I think
last
all
week I
four
just
of us.
went to
Yeah.
yeah
I think
last week I just went to Las Vegas, and let me tell you, my body wants to go to bed a lot earlier than it used to in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. Before you'd go to Vegas and you can do all night. Now, come around 9 o'clock, that's my midnight.
I know you're like
Yeah.
this, dude. It's only 8 o'clock. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I can go a little past 9, but not till early in the morning like I used to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Chad, do you have anything?
No, I yes, I so with the exception of age, does the does CP progress in the nature of the cerebral palsy? Does it worsen over time, with the exception of age? Of course, age, age is what it is. But does the CP itself worsen over time throughout? Uh, yeah, I guess that's my question.
Yeah. As you age.
Not to my knowledge, other than like maybe a little bit expedient aging.
Mhm.
And if you don't take care of certain things, if you don't keep up with your therapy, if you don't work out, if you don't, obviously that's gonna cause more problems, in my
And
experience.
and I have a question. Like, so in your speech, is that something that can improve with like speech therapy, or is it just something that is what it is because of the cerebral palsy?
My understanding is it is what it is. I can't speak for others, but I think there are some people that go to speech therapy. I have never gone to speech therapy myself. I've been pretty good with my speech, other than when I get excited or sometimes people go like, "Slow down, what'd you say?" But I personally don't feel like I need it. But I'm sure there are others out there that do go and benefit from it.
Mhm. Gracie, what about you, Gracie?
um what what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just about like your with your speech, is your speech
Oh,
something that is it does does it worsen over time as far as that goes, or is it the same, or and has can it improve with speech therapy, or anyone that it does? I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to CP.
yeah. So um it hasn't like it hasn't affected my speech, but I also like I take like medication too, so I think that that affects like how I talk sometimes cuz like I could like it's like I'm talking and then like I get stuck or like I stutter. So, yeah, I think I never used to do that before. So, I
Mhm.
think it's part of the medication that I take that does that.
Well, and like it fascinates me, and what Jeff mentioned, it's not a mental issue. It's just that it's my speech is slower because of my cerebral palsy. But it's not that it's not that my intellect is. So I can see I can see the how people go there with that, Jeff. That really that makes a lot of sense, and I
Yeah.
see. I get what you're saying. That's yeah. I didn't. That's something I didn't know. When
Yeah.
I understood it to be, or else I guess perceived it because of the speech impairment that it was possibly there was some mental disability there with that. But yes, it's that, and yeah, that's my ignorance, and that's good to know, and
Yeah.
then for our audience to know that's yeah, great to know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There, not in my experience, but there can be learning disability associated. But still, that doesn't imply the other thing that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's not a cognitive thing. It's yeah, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Derek just said in the chat, it's not cognitive. It just it's part of the disability. With spinal cord, there's a little bit more than the average person with doctor's appointments. Do you have to follow up with a specialist because of your cerebral palsy? Do you see a special doctor like a neuro doctor, and you have to go as more often than I guess the average person? Like, I know the four of us do, and especially getting older, with bladder infections, skin issues, it just and just our body is just hurting and
Yeah,
breaking
just
down
just
because
the
of using.
aging aspect,
Yeah,
just
is
aging.
that like for you, Gracie and Jeff? Do you have to see the doctor more often, and do you see a specialist?
I see I see a I see a specialist too.
Yeah,
Probably like once like a month because after like the appointment I usually well my mom like talks to them and like we schedule like a follow-up to like when I can see them again. So yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I don't currently see any other specialists. I do routine doctor appointments, but those of us in my situation can regularly see an orthopedic, and I used to when I was younger, but I haven't had any difficulties related to that and in recent years, so I haven't. But I can ask to see orthopedic, or if I have a problem with my bladder spasticity, see a urologist. But I don't see any neurologist or anything like that.
Hmm. But when you were younger, did you have to go see a specialist? And I guess that's a whole nother issue that I'd love to talk about is how was it like growing up with CP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably answer the first one, yeah, because we were on the doctor. Like, did you see more doctors as a little kid than the normal kids? Obviously,
Yeah, I would say so. Just orthopedic wise, I saw an orthopedic more frequently when I was younger. Um, and I felt like that was a little different than the normal kid because the normal kid would just have to go to the doctor, and here I had to go to the orthopedic doctor. And I've gone to urologist a couple of times, just not a lot, but just enough to feel that I was different.
mhm. How about you, Gracie?
Um well I don't have to see like doctors like that often. So
But when you were younger, did you?
oh well when I was younger like Maybe I did, but I don't remember.
Mhm.
So if I ever have, just because like I was younger back then. So yeah.
And so, on my second question, being young, and I'll start with you, Gracie. Were you mainstreamed at school, or did you have to go to, or were you separated from your classmates? How was it like growing up? I guess during school.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Um. Yes, I had. Well, when when COVID started, I had classes like online, and then I also did I tried to do college, but th- that was like online too, so it was really hard for me. So I just gave up on that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How about you, Jeff?
I was a part of special education in preschool and through kindergarten. About first grade, they started mainstreaming me out, and by second grade, I was sent back to my home school to do regular general education with everybody else. I in preschool and kindergarten, I was sent to a school that was outside my district area or my boundaries, I guess you could say, for that program. But when they determined that I didn't need it, they sent me back to my home school. So most of my educational experience was just quote unquote normal. And I have gone to college and do have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, you went to Cal State Fullerton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Cool.
tell us, you were. I mean, even though you weren't able to play sports, tell us what you did at Cal State Fullerton. I thought was, amazing, and because you are a big fan of that sport.
Yeah. Well, I went to Fullerton JC as well, and I did a lot of interning with the sports information departments. Like that's sports public relations, like dealing with the athletic website and the game day programs. That was specifically more at the junior college level. And then when I was at Cal State Fullerton, I worked courtside at the basketball games for a little bit, doing the sports ticket reporting.
That's awesome.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's sweet.
So I got a question for both of you as well. As you guys are going through this journey, aging and all that, what goals have you still set? You still have in sight for yourself, and yeah, just what are your goals? What do you have set for yourself as you continue?
Well, for me, I have like the goal of like still trying like to walk on my own without anything. So yeah, but I don't know if that'll ever happen because I know that like the doctors have said that it it won't ever happen just because my leg goes up at random times, and then they said because of that I can fall. So yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
go to therapy or anything like that? Can you go to physical therapy?
Yes, I worked out on I work out at a gym close to my house, and they do a lot of like they do everything they have me do the ring rows and stuff that I've never done before, and they have me do the leg lifts, and then a while back um I did the treadmill in my PE class in high school. Um but now I go to a secondary program where I'm in a program right now called Fade. And I basically volunteer different places, and then sometimes I go out to eat. So yeah.
Yeah. And you had mentioned you do some dance classes and stuff online and those kind of things. I'm sure that kind of helps with kind of that kind of deal also, kind of the stretching and that movement.
Movement,
Yeah,
yeah.
I started doing yoga too. So, yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, that's
And I
good.
think for you, Jeff, did you have any goals?
Well, I don't want to sound like too overconfident, but I've accomplished a lot of goals. I think my big goal going forward is to continue improving my health. Just not really related to CP, but just in general. Stay in the
Yeah.
gym and get as healthy and active, and stay as flexible as I can. That's my main number one goal right now. I've gone to school. I have a job. I have a relationship. So I've checked all those big ones off. I think the big one for me is just staying healthy and staying active and
Yeah.
flexible.
It's a good goal. That's a good goal, really.
Well,
For all of us.
you accomplished your best goal was uh, working for me for 10 years.
Yeah.
So now you're
I
gonna
have no
do
comment on that.
it. Leon in the chat has a really good question, and thank you for the question, Leon. But is there any type of research or treatment for CP? With spinal cord, they're always talking about the cure, and I think
Yeah.
that's because you know you can be 10 years old or you can be 50 years old, and at any age, boom, in a split second we're paralyzed and we have a disability. For CP, it's what we've learned is it most likely comes at a young age, at birth or a little after birth. And have you guys heard about treatments or cures along the way for cerebral palsy? Go
No,
ahead,
I
Chris.
have. Oh.
What about you,
I
I
Chad?
know there are. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's
That
okay. So for me, I have never heard of anything like if there is any treatments out there for cerebral palsy, but yeah, like if there is though, tell me about it. So
Yeah. Yeah. You want to know about it if there
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Go ahead, Jeff. About you've heard of something.
I myself am not that well versed, and as far as the research, to my knowledge, there's no cure. The treatments are therapy and things like that we've already kind of touched on. Um, but yeah, as far as I know, I'm not as well versed on the research. But I know I have seen foundations out there and stuff. Like I think there's research that's done through UCLA and things like that. But I
Mhm.
don't have a lot of knowledge on that.
And I, this is just me thinking. I'm not saying it on TV, but because it's your brain, it's really affected. It first starts from the brain for cerebral palsy, where ours is affected with the nerves um, at the spinal area. Do you think that might be a reason, Jeff or Gracie?
yeah, because for me it affects like the right side of my brain cuz I
Mhm.
think um I also have like a little bit of like a learning disability. Like if someone tells me something like important, then like I forget it. So, yeah.
Yeah, understandable. And just
Okay.
can Ken, Jeff, Ken wants you to know that Green Day is going to be playing at the fair, so he's hoping you're going. The fair.
I didn't know that, but I'll look into it.
And if you go, I might want to go. I'd love to go see Green Day. So
Well, okay.
go ahead. You were going to say something?
So addressing your question about the brain, I think that might be a little difference on the research end, and hopefully with the technology that keeps developing in the medical field, we'll get more advances. Um, I have heard of some robotic technology being used for cerebral palsy, but again, as with the rest of the research, I'm not that well versed on it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I know
Yeah.
we got to get wrapped up here soon, and you got to get going, Jeff. But
Yeah.
one final question from me, and if the guys have another question, but my question is like, someone young, that let's just say you're mentoring, and I know Jeff, you're a professional peer mentor, but what advice could you give someone newly diagnosed with cerebral palsy, or basically to the family? What would you give? And I know both of you have strong. Gracie, I met your mom, and beautiful person. Seems like she's really supportive for you. And Jeff, you talked about your dad a lot and your mom. So, but if you're meeting someone newly diagnosed, the person with CP or the family, what advice?
For the family, do not hover. Do not helicopter. Let
Hmm.
the individual be the individual. Try not to make all the decisions for them, because what happens when you're no longer there? I was fortunate to have family that pushed me. My mom, my grandma, my stepdad, as Robert mentioned. Um, but yeah, do not hover and do not helicopter. We are capable, and we are capable of making our own decisions. And to individuals with cerebral palsy that are younger, keep up with your therapy, keep up with that stuff. Because there are times where I didn't, and I feel like I could be in a little bit better situation than I am now. I don't regret it, but if you have a chance to start from the beginning, keep up with that stuff. The better you can keep your body in shape, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah. How about you, Gracie? What advice would you give the
Um,
family of a person?
I would probably tell them just like to never give up, and if you wanna if you wanna do something that you never have done before, and if you're like afraid to do it, like don't be like afraid, and like try your best to do it, even even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Leon in the chat just said, you guys are smart people. That he feels like he's learned a lot about CP, and that's what we wanted to get out. And being that it
Okay.
was CP Awareness Month and also
Yeah.
CP Awareness Day on the 25th, so that's why I was so glad to have you guys on and for us to learn a little bit more about cerebral palsy.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity because, as we mentioned earlier in the conversation, there's not a lot of light shed on it at all times as far as many groups. So I appreciate you guys doing this and giving us the opportunity to share our experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Thanks,
have any
Jeff.
last questions?
I have
Um,
one that's. Oh, sorry.
oh,
Go ahead,
it's a
Gracie.
I was just gonna like try to promote the online Zumba more, because
Hmm.
and like encourage like more people like me to do it, because I've told like other people about it before, and they said like okay, like oh, like come on, but then like they sometimes like they have like here and there, but then like they say okay, but then like they don't even like they're not they don't even like go on there. So sometimes I feel like even though like I tell them, they just say okay because um that's like what they want me to hear. So
Where can somebody find out about the Zoom that you're, and maybe if you don't know it offhand, we can put it in the description later on.
yeah. So there's this girl um, on Instagram who's an online Zumba instructor, and her name is T- Tennille, um, T- Tennille Houston. and it has like she also has a website that you can go to like to sign up for the classes, and then it says like all of like the different classes that she has, because her Zumba is um Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then it's also like throughout the weekend too. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the dance classes too, they're also like on the weekend, like on Saturday and Sunday too, and sometimes Friday. So,
And are the Zumba and the dance classes adapted? Are they adapted for your ability? Or do you
yeah,
adapt them as you do it?
both of them are seated. Like for the Zumba, it's seated Zumba. So I do it like in my chair, and then I just like I can do most. Um, so yeah, not like most of it. Like I could do it because on this like specific, I don't know if you guys like, yeah, like the handle right here. I usually I can like flip. I could flip it back to have more room, like to move like my arms and stuff when I do Zumba. So
Mm.
yeah, and like I usually flip them back like whenever I do Zumba, just like so I can have like more room and just like to move like more freely. So
And just FYI for anybody out there, and we'll put this on our description. I'll get it to Shawn and have it in our description after the show. But it's www.adaptwellnutritionandfitness.com.
Yep. Good
Anybody's
job,
in,
Bobby.
Awesome.
yeah.
And there was a question in the chat. What is Zumba? Can you describe what you do for Zumba?
yeah, so we dance to like all types of songs, and like she did like the ATP song, like she like comes up like with her own choreography of like how she could do it. And then I'm also like working on it too, because I have my own choreography for it too. So
Nice.
yeah,
Right
Good
on.
deal.
yeah.
Paul, you had a question?
Did I have a question? I thought I
Yeah,
had a
I thought
question.
you did.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
covered
have
it.
a
I couldn't
I
remember
have
his.
I have a
Ev-
comment. I'd like to thank both our guests, Gracie and Jeff. I know I had a chance to work with Jeff at Rancho, and he was one of my trainers. So I enjoyed that. Thank you very much. And Gracie, it's nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you, but I finally get to meet you. But I want to thank you both for continuing the journey. And it's like all of us with disabilities, you are, your life is what you make it, and it sounds like you guys are headed in the right direction as well. You're young, a lot younger than I am, but it's just nice to see that people in our situations with a disability that are still moving forward, that still have that dream and want to enjoy life. So hats off to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a nice compliment. And I just want to say thank you to everybody and thank you for having me on. I may lose power pretty quick here, so I just wanted to say thank you and thank you for having me, just in case that happens.
Not a
Okay.
problem. And just
I
FYI,
remember what my question was. I remembered my question.
oh yeah, go for it.
So, do you feel like earlier in the conversation, we're talking about support groups, and there's not a lot of support groups that are just specifically for CP. There's different ones for different disabilities. Where I'm located, we have a smaller population of spinal cord injury, smaller population of CP. So when we do support groups, we have lots of different types of mobility disabilities there. So I often, in the groups that I'm involved with locally, we have CP, spinal cord injury, lots of different neurological conditions are all in the same support groups. Do you feel that you're included down there where you guys are and where there's a larger population? in different support groups?
Well, I'm not in like I haven't found like any like support groups like that. Um so yeah, I'm not like I talk to other people like who have like CP and yeah. So I'm not in like any groups or anything though.
Okay.
The groups, I feel they're not a lot out there, but I did grow up with a best friend with CP, and now at my job, I have another coworker that's younger that I just brought in with cerebral palsy. So it's nice to be able to share my experiences with him, and hopefully he doesn't make some of the same mistakes that I did.
No, that's great. Well, thank you both. And in the comments, many people, Leon, Derek, uh,
Yeah.
Black Olive, so many people. Thank you guys for joining us and learning more about cerebral palsy. And it's nice to talk about some other disability than Borneo spinal cord that we talk about here all the time.
We're
Yeah.
wearing that one out, huh?
Yeah, we wear that one out. So,
Yeah.
but we couldn't
No
have, and
problem.
also I forgot Sharon also wanted to say thanks to you all for sharing and doing what you do. So that was great. But before we leave, we do have to thank some sponsors. You want to go ahead and thank those, Robert?
Sure. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Like I said earlier in the show, they are a great group of professionals that are very much part of the community. And what they do is provide the best and durable medical equipment along with excellent customer service. Mobility Professional Services, the Southern California region. So contact them if you are in need of a wheelchair or any other DME equipment. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, is uh, located also here in Southern California, but provides services throughout the country. So wherever you are in the good old US of A and in need of urology supplies, give them a call, Urology Professionals. And also have a footnote to them. I believe they're starting a peer mentoring program. So I got to find out a little bit more about that. And so that'll be added to all the services they already provide. So that's pretty interesting if they're going to be doing that. I think so. So we'll have an update on that as we move forward with the shows. So give them a shout. Let them know that you heard about them right here on the Live to Roll channel.
I believe on their website there's a little bit about the peer mentor program. I was looking at it the other day.
Yeah,
And,
I just noticed that. So I didn't have a chance to contact anybody. So check it out.
Looks like we lost Jeff, and he said his phone was about to
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
Don't forget to check us out next week. We're going to be back Tuesday. Shawn and Tom. Hopefully, Tom is feeling a little bit better, and we'll be back. Like Leon said, don't forget to hit that smash button. Crypto Rod said, "Great show." Thanks, Robert, for the shout out. And next week is the beginning of the month, so we have the Rolling with the Golden Oldies here Thursday at 3 o'clock. But before that, don't forget to check out Tom's Cooking with Tom. He wasn't able to do it yesterday, quite wasn't feeling well, but he'll be back next Wednesday. Some cooking tips and fun little stuff. So check it out. And thanks, Gracie, so much for all your support on here on Live to Roll in the chat. Do you have any final last words that you'd like to say?
No, just like thank you guys for having me on here because I really like to talk to everyone and like answering like your guys' questions about cerebral palsy because I don't really talk about like what I have, so yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks for being on. Yep.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Gracie, for coming on and for sharing with us. You've got a lot of life ahead. You're a pretty young woman, and yeah, good luck to you. And yeah, it's good to have you. Thank you for being here.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ken, yes, you can call me after. So thank you so much. All
Thank you,
right,
everybody.
everyone. Thanks a lot. Live to roll.
Live
Take
to
care.
roll.